Hi, I'm Wild Bill. It's just before noon on the 29th of November 2024. I only have a short time to do this because I've got to go play Santa Claus for pets tonight, and I have to get ready. This is one of a series of essays that I have been doing on the possibility of and the possible motives of claims about extraterrestrial life. The purpose of science isn't science. Wild Bill Cox. Science fiction and fantasy are full of stories about life on planets around other stars. There are problems with that basic idea. For one thing, most of the stars we know of are red dwarfs, super lightweight stars. Our stellar neighborhood is swarming with these red dwarf stars, some of them with certified confirmed planets circling them. Sadly, red dwarfs are often classified as flare stars, meaning they have variable output. Flares are powerful explosions on the surface of otherwise weak output stars. At this time, it is expected that planets close in the Cinderella zone to those stars cannot maintain an Earth-like atmosphere. Flares strip away atmosphere, meaning that those planets cannot support life as we know or expect it. Here's I consulted an interactive map of the local stars at www.stellarcatalog.com. Right away I can see that red dwarfs dominate the region. Only a few brighter, more sun-like stars are sprinkled in with them. As stars get bigger, more massive, than the sun, they leave that stable sweet spot that allows Earth-like planets with breathable atmosphere and liquid water possible to exist around them. Lower mass stars are unstable, have frequent life-destroying flare events. Higher mass stars have lambda max, main output of energy, in the shorter wavelengths. Shorter wavelengths, ultraviolet, extreme ultraviolet, are also dangerous, even deadly, to life as we know or expect it. Planets close enough to heavyweight stars are so irradiated that there is little likelihood of them maintaining an Earth-like atmosphere, meaning recognizable life would not survive, even if it did try to arise. That seems to leave only sun-like stars as possible locations for Earth-like planets holding stable atmospheres capable of maintaining open water like oceans or lakes and streams. Harvard says G-type stars make up about 7.6% of observable stars. Only a few of these have detectable planets, and most of these are outside the star's Cinderella zone. That leaves us with only a fairly small sample of potential life-supporting planets. One major assumption about civilizations beyond Earth is that technologically advanced cultures would better utilize the energy pouring out of their planet's suns. That means large-scale structures like slinky rings or Dyson spheres. These structures, meant to absorb and convert stellar radiation to useful power, would definitely show up as atypical variations or levels of output for their respective primary stars. In other words, we'd notice something fishy about them, which we don't. Certainly, there are no stars that change direction, as a Dyson sphere or other manipulating structure might empower. Why steer your star around? Because you'll run out of raw materials pretty fast if you build such structures. You'll need more, and so you drive your star to a region where other asteroids or planets exist and tear them apart for replacement resources. Just building a hyper-megastructure would likely take millennia to construct. And if our history is any indicator, there would be many interruptions, stoppages, and perhaps budget overruns to get in the way. Or wars. So no hyper-megastructures, no advanced civilizations, and perhaps no life elsewhere. We talk a good fight about extraterrestrial life, but that isn't because we're certain it exists, despite what misleading model interpretations suggest. There are no theories worth the weight of words that can, quote, predict, end quote, life. We simply don't have enough data or sample depth, one planet. When TV and other media say, quote, there must be life out there, end quote, the History Channel, they have no basis in fact or science. The models simply don't have enough data to make those predictions. So why are the journals and presentations so invested in the concept? Simple. It's easier to get funding if you say, we could find life on Europa, Triton, Ganymede. It's exciting. It catches public and bureaucratic interest. It gets folks on board. It generates funding. Science claims it's all about discovery, but in essence, it's all about funding. No funding means fewer science jobs, fewer observatories, fewer advances in sensor acuity, emptier pockets all round. Particle physics needs new and more powerful colliders, even though the predictions of, quote, new fundamental understanding, end quote, never come true. Astronomy, astrophysics, and astrometric precision require larger and more capable sensors. Medicine must have advanced machinery, which is so expensive it limits the number of patients that can afford it, and limits the number of doctors that understand it well enough to use it effectively. We're not all geniuses, you know. So think of funding theoretical science as an analog to buying a subscription to a magazine that promises to reveal the secrets of the universe, but seldom does. The imagery gets better. The predictions get more and more fantastic. I cite super Earths, which can't possibly be habitable or hospitable. But it's mostly hype designed to acquire more and better funding for more pay raises for scientists with more tenure. This year, for instance, the Nobel Prize for Physics didn't even go to a physicist, if in that don't beat all. However, if aliens are out there, they're not detectable, which suggests any such are simple life forms at best, unable to so affect their environment enough that their efforts can be perceived. As with UAP/UFO phenomena, the simpler solutions are usually the best ones. Otherwise, you have to get there yourself and poke around to know the truth. And we ain't going to be doing that anytime soon. Even if we designed a self-repairing probe or probe swarm and sent it or them off to, say, Alpha Centauri, we would not get useful data back for 1,000 years. That's how long it would take to get there. Warp drives are only theoretically possible if one limits the parameters of the study below those of reality. Chemical rockets don't have the range or endurance. Nuclear rockets are pretty much the same, and if anything outside of a probe's programming goes wrong, we won't be able to call the technician to drive out and fix it. Finally, as per my post yesterday, if there are star-spanning alien cultures, the biggest question before us is, do we really want them to know we're here? Consider, the most human-like organisms we know are chimps and gorillas. How do we treat them? How do we treat elephants or whales, the closest thing we have to separate intelligent species? Well, we hunt them, kill them, push them out of their homes, exploit them unmercifully, which is likely what an advanced culture or aliens will do to us. The media is afire with fusion power is just around the corner and there must be alien life out there, just like it was 70 years ago. What's changed since then? A lot of money has changed hands. That's for sure. But those ideas are fluff and nonsense. 70 years on, and still no way to detect or contact alien life that provides suitable data. And no chance of fusion power in my lifetime. So science is not a way to unearth life, pun intended. It's just another way to spend money. Do I like the specials, the full-color magazine articles? You bet. But that's not science. It's advertisement, entertainment meant to generate interest, which generates funding. And funding is the goal. In our society, the only thing that matters is what's in your wallet. Doesn't matter if you're a scientist, a ditch digger, a policeman, or a chemistry dropout cooking meth in an abandoned house. Everyone needs money. That's the purpose of life on Earth. Without it, what you gonna do? Music, which I know a bit about, is all about bands struggling to make ends meet. Science and politics are pretty much the same, as is financial speculation, the stock market, prostitution, and every other human endeavor. Hookers advertise by wearing tight clothes and ultra-short skirts and hanging out in places their potential customers know to look for them. Science advertises by magazines, peer review, counterfactual television, internet shows, and non-degree science influencers. Admitted, there are some serious scientists out there that are doing influencing also, but they are in the minority. We know where to find them because they hang out in places we expect them to be. University, collider, observatory, musical research labs, X, YouTube. So, should we withdraw funding from science and switch that money over to something more entertaining, like comedy? Absolutely not. But we should also stop believing that fusion power is right around the corner. Just send us a little more money, and there must be life out there. Just send us some more money. Leave that stuff to science fiction, because that's what it is. Wild Bill Cox, 29 November, 2024. And thanks for listening.